Hi, accredited investors. Hey, I'm so excited. We got a new deal right now. It's a 46 unit building, brick, solid brick, in the race horse capital of the world, Lexington, Kentucky. Rents on this thing, they're 15% below what the market rate is around it. I know because we own several buildings in the area. We're buying this one 15% less. To learn more, all you have to do is go to homeinvest.com or click on the description down below. Inside the description, you'll see a link down there. Remember, always consult with a tax advisor, a financial planner, or attorney before making any investment decisions. Having said all that, all you have to do is go to homeinvest.com or click on the link that you'll find down in the description down below. Thanks, God bless. Enjoy the show.
Are you looking to break into multifamily property? If you're trying to figure out how to move from 3 houses into multifamily or just skip the houses altogether and start with multifamily, this is going to be the podcast for you. Welcome to Purpose Driven Passive Profits. If you're new to the show, I'm joined by Nate Armstrong. He is the CEO and founder of our Inc. 500 company, Home Invest. My name's Steve Warner. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer, and we are here to help you be great stewards of what God has given you so that you can reach financial freedom and create your ripple in the world. Nate, how are we doing today?
Excellent, Steve. Excellent. So excited to tear into this topic so we can help people trade up.
Awesome. So we are going to start off. This is going to be a 3-part series. Today, we are going to be talking about how you find great multifamily properties. The first thing is, what states should you invest in? Nate, there are 3 criteria that we look for when we're kind of picking the area. If you don't want to know the area, or if you already have your area, you can skip forward just about a minute or two, and we're going to get into how you find the properties. But Nate, how do we find the area to invest in?
Well, first off, if the entire multifamily economy, so to speak, is driven off of income, jobs. So you need to be in an area where the employment is getting better, not worse. Jobs have to be moving in, not moving away.
Okay, that's the first one. What's another criteria for great multifamily state?
Yeah, next one is population. You want a population base that's at least holding its own. It should be increasing ideally. If you got people moving out of the state and fleeing whatever kind of government rules or mandates, whatever is going on that causes people to leave, you don't want to be there buying multifamily. And then the third one, and this is probably the most important one, Steve, I'll toss it back to you. Where do you want to hit this one?
I would say a state that is landlord friendly, which actually has a few subcomponents. The first one is going to be general landlord friendly rules, right? If you need to evict somebody, you can do so in a timely manner. 2, there's no squatters' rights. And 3, it's just they treat landlords well. The second little caveat to this is a state that is running a surplus budget. Why is this important? Well, we saw this in Texas. The minute Texas needed to pay back all the COVID money, they raised taxes. The minute they raised taxes, it pushed buildings that were doing positive numbers, cash flowing well, into break even or negative. We don't want to see that. So you want to look for a state that is generally landlord friendly and runs a surplus budget. The caveat to this is that it's usually a Midwestern state.
Yeah, Midwestern states, Sun Belt has been good historically, but the last couple of years it rose up pretty fast. So there's obviously pluses and minuses to each area, but overall, aim for what Steve said. Landlord friendly, jobs are increasing, and there's population that's increasing as well.
Okay, so now that we know a general state, what do you want to look for? How do you find a great multifamily building? You're not going to usually go on Craigslist. You're not going to scroll through Facebook Marketplace. Yes, you can do what we teach with Social Media Blueprint, and you can get some leads coming to you from Facebook. But really, there is a much better way to get these. Nate, how do we find a good multifamily deal?
So the premier developer in Minneapolis, his name is Bob Lux. I had a chance to sit down with this man years ago, and he was buying this $130 million project at the time. And I walked in, this like bright-eyed kid saying, Bob, how do you do it? How on earth did you raise 130 million? How is this possible? And Bob said, Nate, just, call him one question at a time. And I'm like, Bob, just can you shed some light on this? And he said, Nate, the secret to all of this, the secret to raising unlimited money is really you have to find killer off market deals. When you find a killer off market deal, money gravitates towards it. You just got to present it to the right people and people will jump on it when they see that. So ever since that day, I've been on this quest to always find killer off-market deals. And that's what we do here in our company. And so what we found, the best places to get killer off-market deals is if you can go direct to a seller. That's probably like 6 episodes worth of podcast, Steve. So I'm going to go to the one that is probably the easiest for people to execute right now today. So you're going to want to, I know you might be listening and running or driving or something like that. So you might not be able to write these down, but at least take a mental note of this. This is the easy one to get an off market deal today. There's these listing platforms out there, Crexy.com, LoopNet.com, CoStar.com. Now, before you immediately say, oh my goodness, Nate, those are on market, that's never going to work. Hear me through on this because you're not going to go there hunting for a deal. What you're going to do there is go and hunt for a broker. Yes, I said broker, and I know I said just a moment ago killer off market deals. I'll get to how you get the killer off market deals in just a minute. What you do is you go onto one of these sites, you search for multifamily in your favorite city, your favorite state that you want to do business in. Once they start to pop up, let's just say you get 10, 12, 14 of them that pop up. I want you to go in and look for the broker's information. You're going to call the broker. You're going to introduce yourself. You're going to ask if they have any off-market deals. Now that's the starting point. Steve, you'll tell me how deep you want to go on this part of it, but what you're going to do is you're trying to move away from what's listed on the public and you're trying to get what they might have in their back pocket. You'd call that a pocket listing. You want to get to those pocket listings. That's the true off-market deal where you might be able to form a killer off-market deal.
See, what Nate is sharing with you right here, commercial brokers work a little bit different. They have 3 lists. If you go to one of these sites, if you go to LoopNet or you go to Crexy and you see the building listed there, chances are that's where it went to die. If it made it to a public listing, that means that nobody was interested in the 2 other secret lists that brokers have. And the key to getting the off-market deals is to get on the secret lists. So what are these secret lists that I'm talking about? Well, they go in 3 levels. The third level, which is the worst, is the listing on the public website. The middle level is the broker's email list. And the first level is the broker's text message list. So if you're on his text message list, that means you're in the top 5 to 10 people. He knows you're going to close on a deal. He knows that you have proof of funds. He's vetted you, and he's going to text you as soon as he hears of a deal. Now, the middle one is the email list. The email list is he knows that you're serious. He knows that you might make an offer, but you're probably not hot right now to make an offer. His email list might have anywhere between 50 to 250, 300 people on it that are active at a time. The goal is to move from the cold list out here looking at the public website onto one of the other 2 lists. So when you want to do this, you need to actually pick up the phone and have a conversation. Nate, once you pick up the phone, you have a conversation, you're talking to the broker, how do you get on one of those 2 lists?
Yeah, so we're talking about upgrading from the email list or from the general public database all the way up to the text message list. As you mentioned, Steve, and this is what you'll want to mentally note right here. The broker, if they're going to put you on a text message, it's because they're convinced that you have the ability to close the deal. So your very first phone call with them, this is like the 5-minute interview that's going to make or break your relationship with the broker. The very first 5 minutes. It's a very unforgiving first 5 minutes as well. They're going to ask questions like, have you closed anything here before? Do you have proof of funds? Hey, do you have property management set up in place? How do you plan to do this? They're going to ask these test questions of you just to see your response. And that's really it. If you think about this, when does a broker get paid? They only get paid when a deal closes. So their first interest, I know they have a legal and a fiduciary responsibility to represent their seller, but their very first interest is to make sure that they're going to be able to put food on their table. And if they work with you, if they put your name in front of their seller, they want to know that you're going to have the ability to close. So when they start asking those questions, you have to be prepared to answer those questions one way or another. That's what separates 95% of people from getting these pocket listings, the secret SMS list. Most people never make it to that list because they can't answer those 5 to 10 questions the broker has for them to screen them.
Awesome. So today we covered how you get off-market multifamily deals. This is where Home Invest gets most of their deals from, whether it is social media or through one of these broker connections. We follow up with them. We build these relationships. A lot of times it's a year or more in the making till we get a great deal coming to us from a pocket listing or from one of our social media sources. If you enjoyed this episode, you're going to want to pay attention. The next episode in this series on how to move from one, two, or three single family houses into multifamily, the next episode is going to deal with how do you get the property under contract? How do you set up your LOI? And what kind of earnest money do you need? Until next time, when we get into that, remember, be great stewards of what God has given you, and we will see you here at Purpose Driven Passive Profits.